for us to be, he thinks it's a great opportunity for us to be able to see, for us to be able to get our brand out there, to get sponsorship, and it will be easier to have people see our auction so that we can make more money, so that we can spend it on the good things that we do in the community and internationally. So everybody's incredibly excited. We have a fantastic auction team working this year. We do every year, but this year I have to say it's fantastic, because with it being so new and everybody's running and jumping at the same time to make sure that we're going to put on a good production. It is a different auction this year. Just there are many new things that need to be organized and reconstructed. It's just going to be put on in a slightly different manner. So there's a lot of different things that we have to take into consideration up front. But once all of those are figured out, then we'll be able to kind of move on like a normal auction, and the production will be the same. It's just a different platform. So we still need to secure items, sponsors. This is going to remain the same for our lifetime when we're doing auctions. So still we're looking at 400 items, 50 blocks. And this year we're doing a little bit, or about 50 blocks. So yeah, so we need about 50 or so block sponsors, and we have an opportunity this year to get bigger sponsors for the overall auction. So I know Chuck's been working hard on that, and anybody else who has any ideas for sponsorships. We did so well last year. We want to be able to maintain that or succeed it from last year. So I'm going to pass it over to Irene in just a second. We do have a press conference coming up on August 24th. It has been moved a couple times just due to schedules, but I would like, Irene, if you're able to speak to this, that would be fantastic.
Sure. So we will be having a press conference next Thursday at 11 a.m. I know a lot of people have to work, but if you have any opportunity to be part of that press conference, it would just be good to have Rotarian energy in the room. We will open the doors at 10:15 a.m. The press conference won't take very long, but we want members of the press to be able to talk to people who are involved in the auction. So if you are at all available to get away from your desk and be present with us next Thursday at 11 a.m., that would be so appreciated. I will say, from a logistical point of view, we do need someone to bring the banners over from the meeting to the press conference. So someone who is physically at the meeting will need you to bring banners over, but we can discuss that offline. The press conference is happening at We Digital Productions so that people can get a sense of what their studio is like, where we'll be hosting this magnificent auction. We'll be sharing information about what it means for us to move from a local cable-based event to something that is digitally available to anyone. They don't have to be a subscriber. We will be expressing thanks to Your TV Cogeco. Our tone throughout this entire endeavor is one of appreciation for that very long partnership that was very effective, very fruitful. But we do want to express that we are very interested in expanding the audience to younger demographics, to people who are not cable subscribers, and so on. And so that's going to give us this opportunity to really reach out and expand our membership. One of the things we'll really focus on in the press conference is what we do with this money. So there will be a lot of information presented with as much visual material as possible about the great things that Rotary Auctions have funded in the past. We're really looking forward to making this a fun experience as we explain how we're moving into the digital age. We'll go a little bit sci-fi, I think, in our terminology. And definitely just want to encourage members of the press to mix and mingle with Rotarians on the scene so that they can kind of hear and feel and sense our excitement about what this means for the work that we do, as opposed to just an event, some sort of standalone event. This is something that funds very important work that we do in the community and to some extent internationally as well. We definitely will be sending out the press release on Monday. So I've sent the sample press release or draft press release just to a few of the major leads that are involved in that directly. But after that, I will circulate it to the whole Rotary Auction Committee so that you can have a look and maybe suggest some tweaks as well. I think that's really all that I have to say, but this will be an 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. event next Thursday. We'll open the doors at 10:15. There will be some light refreshments served. We just want to make it as warm and welcoming and engaging as possible. We are not sharing all of the details in the press release. We want to create some excitement and some suspense, but we will certainly be answering all kinds of questions that day. So if you're available, please be alongside us for that.
Thanks so much, Irene. Are there any questions about the press conference specifically in the room or on Zoom?
Would it be possible to zoom in for that? Are we going to be able to set that up?
There will be a live stream attached. So yes, you will be able to watch it online. We can get that link circulated to the club. Any other questions? I can't see the room.
No.
Okay. All right, so now getting into the nitty gritty of auctions. So as I mentioned, things are a little bit different this year. So Bruce, if you could just give a quick update on Auction Central.
So this is the big change this year. It'll be a little bit different because we're not at Cogeco. The We Digital offices are at the Roundhouse Center on the second floor, and various of us, Bob and I and Mary Lou and Chuck, have looked at those offices and concluded that there's enough room there. It's a good decision to do it from the We Digital office. Their equipment is there. We don't have to worry about security. There's ample parking. There's a good internet hookup. And the visual effect on screen will be similar to Cogeco. So there's a place for the auctioneers, there's a place to conduct interviews. The bid lines will also be in that same general area. It's sort of like a small L-shaped area, and they'll be at one end, but we'll have fewer bid lines this year. And we think that's entirely appropriate because most people, we hope, will bid online as opposed to phoning in. We have space for staging and sort of a green room area and a callback area. The mall manager's office has been made available to us. There's a reception area, kind of a bigger storage room and a small boardroom. The whole theme of the thing this year is going to be cozier than at Cogeco. There's not going to be as much wandering around room, but there won't need to be as many people there at the same time. So we think it'll work, and we just have to adapt accordingly. It's on the second floor of the Roundhouse. There is an elevator. We'll need to probably put somebody on the main door coming into the office area, just to tell people where to go and to control the flow of people coming in, because we'll be there after hours. Other than that, there won't be a lot of going in and out of the studio area when we're on live. We'll need somebody to control that. Questions?
It's the day of or press conference you're talking about, you're gonna have people guide or the day of, right? Day of the meeting, you're gonna have people.
I'm sorry, I can't hear Carla.
Sorry, that's for the actual auction, Carlo.
The actual auction, so on press conference, is it gonna have the same idea, people guiding people where to go or anything like that?
I'm not aware of that. I just know for the 2 nights of the auction, we'll need to have somebody on the door. And for whoever's not for Stephen, Stephen will be in the We Digital area on the night of the auction. But in the staging area, there's a nice big desk there, and people can hold court and have food. We won't have a big fridge, but we'll have coolers, and I think it'll work well.
Can you remind me of the date?
Hmm?
Can you remind me of the date?
December 1st and 2nd.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, it's December. I'm looking at November.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Same question. Third question.
And Carlo, to answer your question, I am I'm under the impression Dom's going to be guiding people or having somebody down there to guide people up to the office should they need to for the media release.
Okay.
Okay, Bob and Ed, do you guys have a warehouse update?
Yes, we couldn't coordinate to have it done before this meeting, but Bob and I and Chuck are trying to arrange a view of the warehouse area to determine if it's suitable. It probably is. It's just a question of seeing how we're going to do the layout and what we have to bring in the way of equipment to the warehouse in order to get it operational. No, we're not doing markups. It's a contractor's. Okay. Go to this, where are the Zoomers? It's located at a contractor's office. They have equipment storage area at the back. We're going to be using that area. I just want to make sure that there's Wi-Fi in there, that we've got enough light. We probably have to bring in tables and other equipment for our own use, but other than that, it should work. It's just a question of looking at that, and then you also have to look at the logistics of how are we going to handle the people picking up their items. Is there parking? How's the traffic flow going to work and that sort of thing? It's all things that are doable. It's just a question of how we can organize it.
And where's the site? Where?
It's
Near Remark.
It's near Remark, right behind in that area. People will know where it's at. I think I've been by this contractor's office dozens of times. I just never got inside.
Write a big sign, I'm pretty sure.
Signage is one of the issues that we're going to have to look at, because I think that the public coming in, there's a number of driveways there. They could pick the wrong driveway. So it's a question of how do we funnel the traffic into the way we want them to go. All right.
Big sign on Howard.
That plus it's the internal movement of traffic in the area, right?
So also one thing to consider with the warehouse, and this just might be me having anxiety about all of this. We have club members that go until late hours in the evening to work on getting everything sorted, organized, inputted into the system. So just safety, just think about safety when you're looking at the warehouse as well. Awesome. Was there a question? Sorry, I can hear. Okay.
No, I was just agreeing with you, Deb, that it's not a safe area, so people should not be there at night at all, because my son works at Remark. It's not a safe area back there. So just stay
Good to know.
Yeah, stay in pairs.
Okay, things to think about. And on the flip side, just to add, if anybody has any other ideas for a warehouse that's safe, if this one doesn't work out, please let us know, because this is our hang up factor at the moment, is the warehouse. So
yeah, I just was gonna add that anything with tables and all that, of course, you know that I can take care of all that, right? And tables, chairs, any like draping or anything for the back of rooms. Also, I have some flags and things that we could use for parking lot indicators. I can't help with dangerous locations. But anything like that inside of warehouses, that I can take care of that at with no cost to the club, so we don't have to worry about that.
Thanks so much, Leanne. And I actually can't see hands up, so yes, please shout if you have a hand up. So
okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
Okay, so on to sponsor letter and donor letters. So I know about a month ago I sent out both the sponsorship and donor letters. I resent them last night just in case those emails got displaced. So now that we're into full on item gathering, you have those letters to act as a guide. Change the donor letters however much you want to change them so that they're specific to your people that you're going to go see. That's all good. We're sort of asking that the sponsor letter remain as close to what it is, just so that it's consistent going out to all of the sponsors. But they're there for your use. If you have any questions, please let me know. And actually, what I should say is, since I'm going to be going away for the next 2.5 weeks, Bob is going to be taking all inquiries related to auction. Thank you, Bob.
Save your questions.
So the other thing that we're going to be doing this year, because it's so new and because we're changing platforms and we've been with Cogeco for so long, what we want to do is call the frequent bidders. So we're going to be, we have a script that we're going to be sharing with the club, so that, and we'll organize all of this. So this is just an info session, so that a personal call goes out to each of our frequent bidders. I've spoken with Stephen. He's going to send over the list tonight. So we'll get that all sorted out and we'll let you know how you can participate. It's just a simple script. It's a guide. Again, change it however you want to change it. If you want to call during the day, leave a message. That's all we're asking. It's just to make that personal touch to these frequent bidders, because they've been following us for a very long time and have been incredibly loyal and have really helped us reach our goals for the auction. So we want to just give them that heads up. And then closer to the auction, again, we'll have students do some calling just to remind people that the Rotary auction is coming up, and that this is where you can see it, this is where the link is, and all of the different things. So we're still in the setup process of all of this, but it will come to light very, very shortly. So this is your auction team. So pretty much we have, Pam is the vice chair. I have to call out Pam because she's going to be of great help since I'm not there in person, and she will be. I will be there for the auction. But Pam, thank you so much for volunteering for the vice chair. We have Chuck as sponsor coordinator, Judith scripting, Irene production coordinator, and our social media guru. Bob as bid phones, Terry as callback phones, Ed as warehouse, Stuart as food coordinator, social media and marketing are Paul, Phyllis, John, and Irene, and then internet coordinator and treasurer are Mary Lou. The one thing that we have left off this is auctioneers. So we do need an extra hand to help us obtain auctioneers. And I know everybody knows somebody throughout the community. We have all of the contacts from last year, so it should be a relatively easy job. So if somebody would like to volunteer, please connect with Bob or myself on this, because we really need to get going on solidifying who will be our auctioneers come December. I don't want to put anybody on the spot in the room, so I'm not going to do that. Any questions on auction leads? Anything that we've talked about so far? It's a quiet group.
For an auctioneer, have you thought of or asked Dominic Papa, since he's also been on radio and on things like that? Would he be interested in doing it, or would he be too busy to do it?
That's a good question, and that's something we can float.
If he hasn't been approached, I would say approach him, and also maybe think of asking him, because he knows certain personalities. If he could put the word out through, whether it be Bob and Deb or whoever.
We should probably approach those that we're very comfortable with over the last number of years, and then determine how many spots we need to fill.
Exactly, but I'm saying, tap in on Dom for actually either doing it or knowing other people that do it, because he knows some people that have the voices, and from his days of whatever friendships he has, and things like that. Just a thought.
Thank you.
No. Thanks.
We also had Gail Robertson here a couple of weeks ago talking to us, and she seems very comfortable. She's been an auctioneer for the auction before, so she's another person we can approach.
She was there last year with I can't remember.
She's on board.
Ken
She'll
Cookstead.
do it again.
Oh, yeah,
She really had fun.
So that won't be a problem.
Yeah, we have the list from last year, so we are absolutely going to go through that list to see whether or not anybody wants to join us. We're not sure whether or not the switch over to We Digital is going to cause any issues with auctioneers, but that's something that we're taking into consideration.
5 minutes. Yeah, Deb, I'm gonna jump in on one thing.
Go ahead.
In the past, we've had, we'll call it team captains. So we're looking for 6 volunteers. I'm hoping to get 3 names from in the room and 3 names from on Zoom. Excuse me. Those captains would just be to help motivate, coordinate. There,
Bottom 5.
there we go.
Voluntary 4.
Terry just volunteered. She's talking. Terry's number 1. Is there somebody else?
Last year,
Stewart is
Deb.
number 2.
Deborah Hershaw.
Deborah, we have 3 from in the room. We're looking for 3 on Zoom. Thank you, Bill. Bill looked at me kind of funny there.
I always look at you funny, Bob.
Leanne's hand is up.
Leanne's hands up.
Leanne, and we're looking for 1 more. Thank you, Paul and Phyllis. You're doing teamwork. You guys are great. Thank you for all volunteering.
So Bob, that brings me, thank you for bringing that up. That brings me to what the team captains are going to do. So this is where the bidder calls come into play. So once we get the list from Stephen, we're going to split it up between the 6 teams and have a little bit of competition. We're going to try and figure out what you win. That's something that we still have to figure out, but there'll definitely be some competition, and same thing with the items. So similar to last year, it's like, it just drums up some fun. So we want to make this fun for everybody. I know it's auction. I know it's a lot. I know it's heavy, but we want to make this fun. Hardy.
What I will do is, as I did last year, I'll form up the teams, basically, the high producers and low producers together, and just so the teams are all balanced based on a number of items as a group. So I'll do that next week or so, and it'll go to the team captains. And I'll make the adjustments as required, and so no one's going to have any benefit or problem. Yep.
3 minutes left. 3 minutes left.
3 minutes left. Okay. And then just this is my last slide. So other opportunities, it's the same, callbacks, bid phones. And as Bruce was mentioning, having people at doors and directing and that sort of thing, that's new for this year as well, just so that we can direct people to where they should be going and have a little bit of security at the doors. So those are some opportunities that will come up and we'll talk about in the near future. Thank you again for everybody that's helping out with this. It's a big project, and I'm enjoying working with everybody on the team and in the club. So thank you very much. Bob.
The cards were picked up yesterday.
Oh, awesome.
The business cards. Please help yourself to a reasonable amount. It's a great introduction, especially to new businesses that, of course, we're always trying to get new participation. So they'll be at the desk on your way up.
Yeah. And Paul, thank you again for doing that so quickly and getting it ready for today's meeting. So thank you. Any questions in the room?
Yeah.
Any ideas?
I had an idea. Go ahead. Okay, I will. I have like 30 seconds, right? Okay, so at our meeting last night, membership meeting, we were trying to come up with ways of, increasing membership, et cetera, et cetera. And we were wondering about if committees could meet sort of not Zoom for one meeting in the next month, 2 months, so September, October. And then after that, have a brief meeting and then go out in teams to different businesses wherever you decide to have a meeting. So we were looking at maybe a social event out in Amherstburg. And so we thought maybe we could meet for coffee or something like that. And then afterwards, go out and hit those stores. So that way you go out in teams, because you've done quite a bit of that, Bob, in the past with teams. And that's been really successful in getting certainly new businesses and, raising awareness. So we were just thinking that might be an idea of just over the next month or two, maybe one of your committee meetings could meet in a different location. Anyways,
Great idea.
One in Kingsville, one in Amherstburg, maybe a couple or whatever.
Yeah.
Irene?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of reinforce something that's already been talked about a little bit very briefly. If you're reaching out for donors or sponsors with the fabulous donor and sponsor letters, just reiterate to them that this is a digital event now. It does not require audience members to have a subscription to Cogeco Your TV. So if it's a business that typically targets a younger demographic or people that wouldn't typically tune into cable, this is a great opportunity to get them on board by really emphasizing that part of the message.
Thank you.